Have you ever wondered why do we have kings? Why did we ever have monarchies? Who decided that there was going to be one guy, one family that ruled over everyone else and that would tax them and take their money? And it wasn't random. In fact, the very first kingship on Earth started in Sumer, created by the Anunnaki gods. The gods themselves created kingship, and they left it in the hands of their chosen, of their hybrids. Just think of all of the Greek mythology where Zeus was commingling with human women and creating demigods. This is the same thing, but go back in time to ancient Sumer, the cradle of civilization, where Homo sapiens sapien appeared out of nowhere. It went from one day being a bipedal hominid monkey to no hair and beautiful people. That's not random. That's a missing link of millennia of years of evolution. So the kings and queens, the royal lines, are literally the people that the Anunnaki designed to rule over humanity. And we know this because of the Sumerian king list, which is one of the oldest written document in human history. And here we find the proof where it says kingship descended from the heavens. And that's not just a metaphor. Now, while scholars are going to dismiss it as mythology, while at the same time they can't explain why these silly Sumerians were taking so much time and effort to create and write down these royal dynasties. As soon as any ancient scripture says from the heavens, it becomes symbology. No, people, it means what it says. Kingship was brought here from the heavens, from Nibiru. This is the root of all royal bloodlines. Every royal family on Earth, no matter where they are today, those people stem from the original bloodline. They are the hybrid offspring of the gods. Just like on Nibiru, there was one ruling house, and the above mirrored the below. And this is where the phrase, as above, so below, comes from. The above is Nibiru, the heavens, while the below is Earth, the Apsu. Basically, Earth was created as a reflection of Nibiru. The kingship on Earth just reflects how they rule on Nibiru. Now here's the key. For thousands of years, these royals have admitted to this. They declared openly that they ruled by divine right. In Europe, King James I of England, he wrote down, "Kings are God's lieutenants upon earth. By God himself, they are called gods." Now, the French monarchs, they lived by a motto, "God is my right," claiming that their authority came directly from the heavens. While Louis XIV declared this, "God establishes kings as his ministers and reigns through them over the people." They weren't hiding it. They were literally telling you to your face that they ruled because the divine willed it. But something changed, because in the ancient world, this was flaunted. In the medieval world, it was justified through religion. But in the modern world, all of a sudden, it becomes a secret. We're conspiracy theorists. What? The royals don't say it out loud anymore. Why? Because humanity has awakened enough that if we were told outright, we rule because we're the descendant of the extraterrestrial gods, the world would probably revolt. We'd be seeing beyond the illusion of religions and indoctrination, this control system. Can you imagine us? We'd question every throne, every crown, and every bloodline. So this is where I step in. Other scholars are going to look at Sumerian tablets and say, "Oh, this is mythology." So when scholars see that kingship descended from heavens, they see it as something poetic, a myth. This is why bloodlines matter so much to the royals. Why do you think European monarchies inbred for centuries, even at the risk of disease and deformities that eventually led to genetic collapse? It wasn't about wealth and it wasn't about property. That's what they tell you now. You'll hear the Rothschilds say something like that, and it's all connected to the English royal family, but we'll talk about that in another video. They were talking about protecting something that was far more valuable: divine inheritance, celestial DNA, literally the Anunnaki bloodline. And the pattern is universal, starting from the pharaohs in Egypt. This is why I was telling you Nefertiti, the first woman to rule, even as a king, she was king and queen at a certain point. That is Anunnaki bloodline. That's just too important. The emperors in Japan trace their bloodline to the kings of Sumer, trace theirs back all the way to Anu, Enki, and Lil Andi Nana, the royal family of Nibiru. And the connection between thrones and heavens is not a cultural coincidence. Everybody around the world, even cultures that weren't communicating with each other and that never went out, they all believe the same thing. They all did the same thing. Again, not coincidence, pattern. It's a pattern. So when we look at the royals today, like the Windsor or the Bourbons or the Romanovs, understand that behind that pomp and ceremony, all branches of the same ancient tree. Tree whose roots are not from this earth. And whether they admit it or not, this crown isn't just a piece of golden jewels. This crown is a relic of a contract made thousands of years ago between gods and men. And this contract still echoes today. That's the true secret of monarchy, and this is the legacy of the Anunnaki. Why do you think the Rothschilds did so much to lend so much money to the English monarchy? A lot of people say they wanted in on the breeding rights. The Rothschilds found a whole bunch of relics. They have the biggest collection of artifacts from ancient history. A lot of it they share with the public. So my theory is they found all of these artifacts. They put the puzzle pieces together. They figured it out. And even if they were nobodies, because before Amschel Rothschild created the first banking system, he had a pawn shop. These weren't rich people. So how do you go from pawn shop to literal royalty? In fact, a long time ago, the royal family of England granted the Rothschilds the Baron title. What's that all about? They lended them so much money that they were in debt that all of a sudden they became like royals themselves. You see what I mean? So when is everybody going to wake up and smell the coffee? The royal families of today are a watered down, washed out version of ancient demigods. And in my opinion, they are so human, they really don't have the right to rule at all.